If someone kept making promises to you and breaking them over and over, would you trust them? Probably not. But here's the thing. This is exactly what you do to yourself every time you say you're going to do something and don't. If you've ever felt stuck in that cycle, starting strong, falling off, and wondering why you can't stay consistent, it's not about motivation. It's about self-trust. And today we're fixing that. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll wake up early and I'll work out. But when the alarm goes off, you hit snooze. You say, I'll meal prep this week. But by Wednesday, you're back to winging it. And every time this happens, it's not about the habit you missed. It's about what your brain is learning. You don't follow through. You don't keep promises to yourself. And over time, that's what keeps you stuck. But here's the good news. Just like trust in any relationship, self-trust can be rebuilt. And the way to do it? Small, consistent actions that prove to yourself that you can follow through. Step 1, start small and actually follow through. The biggest mistake people make, they set huge commitments, break them, and then they feel like a failure. Instead, you need to start with something so small you can't fail. Instead of saying, I'll work out for an hour, just commit to 5 minutes of movement. Instead of, I'll drink a gallon of water today, just commit to 1 extra glass. Instead of, I'll never eat sugar again, just commit to 1 healthier swap. You don't need to prove you can do a lot. You need to prove that you can follow through, even in the smallest ways. Step 2, keep your commitments like you would to a friend. If your best friend needed you to show up for them, you would, right? But when it comes to yourself, you let yourself off the hook. That needs to change. Instead of, I'll do it if I feel like it, start saying, I do what I say I'm gonna do. Treat your own commitments like they actually matter. Because once you start acting like someone who follows through, everything changes. Step 3, track your wins so your brain sees the proof. Most people only focus on what they didn't do. But if you start tracking every small win, every single time you followed through, it changes the way you see yourself. Keep a wins list and write down every time you keep a promise to yourself. Use a habit tracker, not to be perfect, but to see progress. Celebrate the small wins, not just the big ones. Because self-trust isn't built overnight. It's built 1 small promise at a time. I used to make huge promises to myself. This week I'm doing meal prep, workouts, tracking everything. And guess what? I'd do it for a little while, and then I'd fall off. And every time I'd feel worse, like I couldn't trust myself. The biggest shift happened when I stopped trying to be perfect, and I started proving to myself that I follow through. Now it's not about motivation. It's about who I am. The fastest way to change your life? Start keeping the promises you make to yourself, even the small ones, especially the small one. Now, what's 1 small promise you're committing to today? Drop it in the comments and let's make it real. And remember, we can share our journeys, but we should never compare them. Bye.